Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. I'm Zawaski here with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. Law's with us as he is every day as well.
I mean, not every day, but yeah.
Most days. Most days you're here with us, and we appreciate that. Thanks for being with us. Please do us a favor and make sure you hit that like button on the YouTube page. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube page. By the way, that like button is the little thumbs up right under the play button there. So just get in the habit of clicking that as soon as you jump on, and it will help us out big time. And if you're a podcast listener, make sure you rate and review 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and be sure to be following or subscribed there as well. We're going to get to the news of the day, which is a new lawsuit filed against the Chicago Blackhawks. But first, we want to tell you what's coming on later in the week. Tomorrow, Thursday at 2:30, we'll talk to Cam Robinson of Elite Prospects for more draft prep. And on Friday, we're going to talk to former Blackhawk Brendan Perlini, who has launched a YouTube page. Good stuff from him last week about Jonathan Toews, so hoping to get some cool stories from him. But fellas, we'll start with the news of the day. This broke, probably around 9:30 or 10 this morning. Former Blackhawks employee named Nina Sanders, a Native American woman, filed a lawsuit in the Circuit Court of Cook County. In her interview with CBS Chicago, she said she was brought on to build relationships between the team and the Native American community, but instead she was pushed out. She is suing for fraud, sexual harassment, and a breach of contract. If you read the details in the CBS story, and Mario wrote about it at ALLCITY.com, there's a lot in there. She says that there was an employee that was harassing her and sending unwanted Snapchats, and she had reported this behavior to higher-ups and reported that other coworkers were going through this. In terms of the fraud and breach of contract thing, she claims that she was brought on to help the team change the logo, and that is obviously not what happened. She did connect Danny Wirtz and company to the Sac and Fox Nations, where they reached an agreement, a partnership, and she's sort of saying that she was used by the organization to get those things. So that's where we're at, all the details in the story. So, fellas, it's just another thing that's not hockey as it pertains to the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, and, I mean, okay, it's another lawsuit, it's another allegation, another scandal potentially that could get, really just get ugly for this team. And it's unfortunate that, things that are being done to try and by the organization to try and help the organization, it always just seems like it's one step forward and 2 steps back. The Corey Perry thing happens, and the organization, as we said, like, given what they knew, what, the information was at the time, and the way that they handled it, it was done rather quickly. And they went forward with a, zero tolerance approach to it. So you say, wow, like, hey, they're learning from, previous mistakes made by other people in the organization that are no longer there, and they're trying to be better. And then you have, an incident like this that, who knows exactly what is going to come of it. I don't know. With the information presented, it seems like, there's maybe some subjectivity to at least the conversations had between Miss Sanders and Danny Wirtz, and the pretenses in which she was hired, working with the Blackhawks, anything like that. The harassment, I mean, that's first and foremost, it's awful that whatever her experience was, that it happened. No one should be subjected to that. What the Blackhawks say is that the people that she says was involved in that weren't actually employees of the Blackhawks. So, again, it kind of gets into the muddy waters of, like, what would they have been on the hook for? So I don't know. As far as the information presented, there's a lot to still be figured out. But again, it's another situation in which, you know, the Blackhawks are having to deal with things that aren't related to hockey. And given what has transpired in the last handful of years that we've talked about for a long time, they still have a lot of work to do. They still have a lot of work to do to make sure that, you know, they don't have and I said it online, and maybe it wasn't the best term, but the benefit of the doubt, they're like, it's probably nothing. They don't necessarily have that yet.
Nope. Handling
the Corey Perry incident the way that they did was done the right way. But that doesn't just, okay, clean slate. Like, the organization still has a lot of work to do. So it is going to be, you know, something to monitor this situation moving forward. A lot of information still needs to come to light or be figured out. But it's just it's unfortunate that she had to have this experience in what she, you know, went through with this time frame of being involved with the Blackhawks. And it's another thing that the organization is going to have to try and have some goodwill rebuilt up again. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. It's just unfortunate that we have to be in this position, or the organization is in this position again, and they're trying to move. You know, it seems like they're trying to do the right things. It's just there's a lot of right things that they're going to have to do to build up that trust again.
Yeah, well, the Blackhawks are easy targets these days by their own doing.
Yep.
Like, not saying that's wrong per se. They're easy targets. They're going to get hit with this. Probably won't be the last time something like this happens because of their easy, you know, what happened in the past. They're definitely easy targets in the court of public opinion. All you have to do is put Blackhawks sexual harassment in a headline and everybody automatically, they're doing it again, take away draft picks, all this stuff. You have actual credentialed people out there obviously not reading these things, just jump into conclusions. Again, that's the Blackhawks doing. Like, their mistakes of the past,
yeah,
they're hard to shake, even though they've made the right steps. All those people are gone. You could say that to your blue in the face to other people, but they just want to keep thinking. I'm no legal expert. I'm not going to pretend to be a legal expert. I've never played a legal expert on TV. But the little knowledge I have, reading what was in the article today, I'm not sure how much of an actual case is there. But again, let it play out. Let the people who have degrees and practice law and do these things figure it out. It just seems to me it's a lot of he said, they said stuff. But as far as like the Blackhawks retort about, you know, we offered to renew her contract, she decided not to, and the people she's accusing of the sexual harassment have never been an employee or an independent contractor of the Blackhawks, I think those would be things rather easy to prove. There should be plenty of employment records,
yes,
financial records. Like, I would think the Blackhawks will have a much easier way to prove her wrong than the other way around, if that's the case. If sexual harassment occurred, regardless of whether the people were employed by the team or not, obviously you want to get some, you know, justice for her in that scenario. I just don't, based on the information we have now, you can't really say, the Blackhawks are at fault here for anything. So you just got to let it play out. You got we don't have all the information. We won't until, the court, if it even gets to a court case and then all the documents have to be made public, then we can have more information. I don't know if it ever gets to that point.
Yeah, I don't know either. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I am a sports broadcaster. And that's, I know it comes up a little more often than we would like it to. That's for sure, especially on this show. But again, we don't know the facts. All we know are what Miss Sanders is saying, and I'm going to take her word for it. We have what the Blackhawks are saying. They've got their side. I'm not ready to draw any sort of a mass conclusion right now at all for either side. Legally, like you said, Greg, I look at what she has to say and what the Blackhawks had to say, and I say, I don't know if there's much of a case here, but it doesn't mean, regardless of how it is solved legally, if this woman was indeed sexually harassed and reported it and nothing was done, that's a problem. And there should be some accountability for that. There's no doubt about it. But I think for any of us to come on this show and be like, Danny Wirtz needs to resign, or this woman's a liar, we don't have any sort of information where we can draw that sort of conclusion, and any of that would be for show. And that's not what we do on the show. We don't. Look, when we talk about what happened to Kyle Beach, we are very clear that the Hawks were in the wrong about it. We do not hesitate. We do not say, well, there's two sides. No, there's not. When the Corey Perry thing took place, we kind of jumped to some conclusions because of all the stuff that was going on around it. And I was a little bit critical that they didn't get things done quickly enough. But then when presented with, hey, here's why we had to take our time. There's legal, there's HR, there's privacy things that we have to consider. I kind of retracted and said, okay, with that information, I think the Hawks handled it as well as they could have. No one should be drawing any sort of conclusion today. I hope that this woman was not sexually harassed. If she was, there should be consequences. And let's let it play out. Let's see what happens with the case. And just because, and I will say this too, even if a case is thrown out, even if a case doesn't go to court, in any instance, doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
It doesn't. I'm not saying it means it did, but there's a lot of people that say, oh, well, the case is dismissed, so she was lying. That's not the case every time. Right. It's not. It's probably, I would say, more often than not, it's the victim will say, I don't have the resources to battle this corporation, so I'm just going to say, screw it, and get on with my life. And
it's very hard to prove a lot of things in a court of law, beyond reasonable doubt, in any kind of case, whether it be sexual harassment, whether it be murder, whether it be any kind of crime. Those are very hard to prove in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt unless you have something on videotape or something very scientific that says it happens. So, we'll see what happens. You got to let it play out. Jumping to conclusions one way or the other is never a good idea. Making blind declarations that somebody is either right or wrong is never a good idea either. And it's just, there's nothing wrong with just letting these things play out and then dealing with the consequences once you have a conclusion.
Yep. That's all you can really do. And now we awkwardly transition to the break zone.
Yes.
If you're looking to get to a Major League Baseball game this season, you want to go see the Cubs or the White Sox at Wrigley or at Guaranteed Rate Field, or you want to go on a road trip and get some tickets to a road game, the best place to do it is with our friends at Game Time, an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, and the prices there actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. So those great last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying Major League Baseball tickets. I love that view from your seat. And like I said, if you're going to a road stadium maybe you've never been to before, you want to know, like, hey, am I going to be able to see every pitch? Am I going to be able to see, every ball hit? We went to Old Busch Stadium years ago, and we were up in the upper deck in the outfield, and you would lose, like, 30% of left field, so you wouldn't know what happened. You guys had to guess based on the reaction of the crowd what was going on. You don't want those sort of surprises when you're spending your hard-earned money. So go to Game Time, take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time, download the app, create an account, use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Going to the my first Cubs game of the season tomorrow night.
I'm jealous.
Nice.
And if you're going to any of the daytime baseball or late afternoon baseball, don't forget to protect your precious eyeballs with a pair of Shady Rays. They are right here. These are my favorite pair. I own many. I've been a customer of theirs long before there was a CHGO even in existence. I've been a fan. Well, no, I can't read the ad read now. So that's how good they are. Like, I love them. They're an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people, myself included.
Lots of people.
Their shaves have durable frames and crystal clear optics, except when trying to read a computer screen, making them the perfect choice for all your outdoor adventures. They don't work here because I'm indoors. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style or lack thereof. They probably even have a style in your team's favorite colors. The best part about Shady Rays, besides the awesome product and the affordable price, is if you lose or break a pair, they're just going to send you a brand new pair for free.
Let me break those. Let's try this theory out.
No way.
They sit right
Not
out.
that I don't trust them. I need those for the drive home. If you don't love your shades, you can always exchange them for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop at Shady Rays, as they always have your back with personal and fast support. And right now, exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal this season. Head to ShadyRays.com, use the promo code CHGO. You've heard that one before. For 35% off your polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
All right, so before I move on from this, there's 2 comments back-to-back that I want to read. Go up a little bit there, Law. Andrew S. says there's not nearly enough information for anyone to have a well-informed opinion on this. She may indeed be trying to cash in, but without any evidence, it's silly to assume that's the case. And then N. Dunn 22-6 says she said that she had explicit video sent to her, so that is evidence. However, if you read the story, the Blackhawks say that the people that she is accusing of harassment never worked for or were never contracted by the team. So there's so much detail in these stories that you really have to... I had to read it 3 or 4 times before I really understood every little element of the story here. And again, like Greg said, it's she said versus they said with Miss Sanders and the Blackhawks. And also, like Greg said, if these people were employed by the team, that would be easily provable. A major corporation like the Blackhawks has a paper trail for every vendor, every contractor they've ever paid.
They have an accounting department.
Absolutely.
Tax records, everything. It's there.
Yes.
So that makes... for them to be confidently saying these people never worked for, they're not denying that the harassment didn't happen. They're just saying that these people never worked for us. That's to say that as confidently as they are. And if it turns out that they did, that's going to be a really, really bad look.
Bad. Really bad.
After the way they handled the Corey Perry thing, if they weren't going to try and brush that under the rug and take a sword for a player, I can't see them doing that for an independent contractor.
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so. Not saying it's, not saying it's possible or impossible. It's just hard to believe that everything they've gone through the past few years that they would kind of lie about something like this.
You'd think.
But you never know.
You don't know. We don't know.
Let
know.
the legal process play out.
And again, if you're looking for the full detail, ALLCHGO.com. Mario wrote it up this morning very thoroughly and very well. So all the details are there, including the Blackhawks statements and all the. There's also the documents out there from the Sac and Fox Nations talking about the transaction between them and the Blackhawks to become partners. And that's probably another part of the conversation we could have here is, the logo thing, which is always a hot topic. And I think, some of the disappointing reaction I saw as soon as the story came out was like, well, you hire, a woke person to be in your office and you're going to get these results. The Hawks are trying to, at least according to their word, get the opinions and feedback of people in the Native American communities. And to do that, you have to form partnerships. You have to make hires. You have to have representation in your organization in order to get this. However, in my opinion, and I'm speaking for myself only, if you truly, truly value the feedback and the opinions of the Sac and Fox people, you need to put them in positions of decision making, because it's very easy to hire a group of Sac and Fox people or Native American people and say, okay, let's evaluate our branding. Let's evaluate our imaging. And they say, okay, the group of us have come up with these 10 things we suggest. And then the decision makers of the Blackhawks can say, okay, I like this. I like this. I like this. I like this. I really don't like this. I really don't like this. I don't like this. Thank you for your feedback. Here's how we will proceed. Until you have someone of that tribe, of those tribes, of that culture, making decisions in the organization, it all rings a little bit hollow. I do think what Danny Wirtz has tried to do with the Native American communities has been sincere, but I do think that this could be a learning experience for the entire organization. It's one thing to bring people in for token representation. It's another thing to actually put them in positions of decision making. And that's something I would like to see the organization do.
Yeah. Yeah, I would echo that. I would say, you have to be able to, I get that these are, these sports organizations are major money, corporations and are run as such. And a lot of times those aren't necessarily the ones, the kinds of places where, those changes are taken in wholeheartedly. But I would like to think that this, new vision for leadership and this new leadership group has the ability to actually enact a lot of those changes and come through on the things that they're saying that they want to do and that they want to represent, from moving on from how the past had operated before. So that's, I hope that they can do that, and I hope that what they're doing can be genuine and can be completely representative, and go from there.
Cricket asks, how do you know it's token representation, making assumptions, or is that true? It's a real question. I think that I said this, and I want to make it clear. I do think that Danny Wirtz's commitment to making things better with the Native American communities is genuine. I think it's sincere. I don't think it's Danny Wirtz. And look, I don't know Danny Wirtz. I've met him a few times. We've had some interviews, some nice off-the-record conversations. I don't know him personally. I don't know where his heart lies. But I think that from what I've seen, I do think it is sincere. I do think they're trying to do what they think is best. What I'm saying is, though, even when you're well-intentioned, even when you're doing the right thing, there are things you could do to make it better. There's things that maybe you hadn't considered or hadn't been put in front of you. And I think this is an opportunity for them to say, all right, let's look at this a little deeper. Is there more we could do? Is there a way we can put someone in an actual decision-making position to help us make these decisions on logos, branding, in-game activities, heritage nights, yada, yada, yada? Because I think it can be very tempting to, like I said, you get advisors, they advise you, and you can kind of cherry pick the things that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Right? I just think that's what I'm saying. I'm not, when I said token hiring, I'm not saying that it was, they're like, well, we better hire a Native American to get this off our back.
Yeah. No.
I'm just saying, for it to be truly meaningful, I think that they need to have someone of the nations in their top offices, one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that could be beneficial, and not just coming in when you need them to or anything like that. But, yeah, I think there are things that the organization can do to make sure it is truly like representative and really trying to have the best relationships that they can and be forward thinking.
Do you think I'm just curious, like if the Hawks said we have hired artists from the Sac Fox Nations to reimagine our logo, and they came up with 5 to 10 concepts, do you think that fans would be mad about that? I think that'd be freaking cool.
I think it would be awesome.
You're always going to have fans mad about it.
There's always going to be, There's always, look at our chat.
But if the team name stays, if they're still the Chicago Blackhawks,
people mad.
And the logo is designed by people from Blackhawks, the man, Blackhawk, the ward leader, Blackhawk. If his people help reimagine the logo, doesn't that, you talk about respect, you talk about history, you talk about heritage, isn't that the best way to do it?
It
and
is.
maybe it's a more accurate depiction of the man Blackhawk.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But people will be mad. People
Well,
are
yeah, I
always
know.
mad.
But people are always mad about everything. I'm
People
just saying.
are always mad. It's always the people
There's-
with the least amount to say that have the loudest voices.
Yeah.
And
all caps.
there will
always be people
they'll
mad.
find something 48 hours later to be just as mad about.
That's
and
my
move on.
point.
Yeah, like
I think the vast majority of people will be like, "Sweet, that's a cool idea."
yeah, most
Yeah.
people will be like, "All right, cool. It is what it is." Like
I mean, if you look across the league at what other teams do for different heritage nights, pride nights, all these different things, different initiative nights where they have local artists or artists within the communities that they're that they're honoring or anything like that. Look at some of those designs. Look at like the Florida Panthers. I know they have or the Vancouver Canucks. Like I know they have some different cultural nights that like celebrate like the local heritages, and for like warm up jerseys and stuff. They're specialty jerseys, I guess now they don't wear them in warm ups, but those designs are amazing. Like they look so good. So I would think that idea of bringing in people that are indigenous artists to reimagine the Blackhawks logo, I think it would look probably, like you said, more accurate. It would be a better depiction of the culture and the person and the people that it's trying to represent and everything, and it would probably just look awesome. So
yeah,
I think that would be a really cool thing to see. I don't know if it would ever happen, but it would be cool.
100th anniversary coming up.
It's true.
yep.
And by the way, just to, Pete is in the chat saying, my Native American friends love the logo. That's great. I'm not saying that it's not my place to say if the logo is bad. I don't have a problem with it. There's one right there. It's sitting, it's right there on the set. I've got 300 from my house in various places.
Right.
I like the logo, but it's worth having a conversation about. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not in the group that can be offended by it.
Yeah.
But if a large enough group is, then you should listen to those people. But otherwise, it's there's nothing wrong in taking time out of your day to listen to other people's opinions.
That's it.
And you could agree or disagree and take it as it is, but it's okay to take in other people's feelings on things.
Yeah. If you're looking for 100% consensus on anything,
You're never going to get it.
it's only Tom Hanks.
I don't know.
Make the logo Tom Hanks.
I don't know.
Hey,
Chicago Blackhawks.
that'd be awesome.
There you go, the Blackhawks.
I don't know. During
the Tom
COVID, there were
Hanks.
some weird
that's
rumors
right.
going
I
on
forgot
around.
about that. Yeah,
Never
you're right.
underestimate the power of the tinfoil hat these days.
That's right. All right. Can we do some hockey?
Please.
Are we good?
Good.
Let's
Yeah.
please do some hockey.
All right. Well, between work and
to.
social media and scandals and lawsuits and everything that life throws your way, it's no wonder we are more worked up than ever. Just look at the chat. Hey, everyone in the chat typing in all caps, do me a favor. Go to the fridge, crack open a nice cold Coors Light, and choose chill. Choose chill. It's going to be okay. Why not turn your rained-out barbecue into a karaoke house party? Don't invite me. I can't sing. Or after a tough playoff loss or a Sox or Cubs loss, settle scores with an ice-cold peace offering. Make the choice to choose chill. Then reach for Coors Light. It is mountain cold refreshment. And when those mountains turn blue, it's as cold as the Rockies. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. When you embrace a chill mindset, and please do, it's a good time to choose chill and crack open a Coors Light. Coors Light is mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing. As the Colorado Rockies make the most out of the times you choose to chill, choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Hockey. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
And while you're chilling, why not get your blood pressure pumping back up by wagering on sports?
Sure.
Do the opposite of that.
Just offset everything, yeah. Break even.
And when you do that, do it with Circa Sportsbook. They're the best around with their tight moneyline splits and their low hold models. Circa will strive to have games at a -110 split on their sports menu, for example. Unlike other sports books, which may have that same split at a -115 or -120, and that's because Circa Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets, especially compared to those other books. And unlike those other books, Circa Sports does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, and they encourage bettors to download and explore all those other inferior betting apps available. Compare the lines and see that you're always going to be getting the best ones from Circa. And when you're talking about the best, with Circa, the best customer service around, because there are real people behind the Circa Sports brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike those other books who use chatbots. Boo. All aspects of the app are being run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app and sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. They're with us for all Cubs Friday 120 Cubs games in that Friday 120 club. Again, if you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. Or you can text GAMB, G-A-M-B, to 833-234 or visit areyourreallywinning.com.
Hey, do us a favor. We're about halfway through the show. Let's do a like spike. 3, 2, 1. Smash that like button. Hit that thumbs up button right underneath the play button on your YouTube page. That would be very, very helpful. Please do that. We would love you if you did that. And if you do that, however you feel about the logo, that's what's going to happen. Yes. So there you go. Hit that like button and all your wildest dreams will come true. Not true. All right. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with Jakub Voracek being mad at Connor Bedard for not celebrating enough?
Sure, why not? What a pudwhack. All right.
So Jakub Voracek, you may remember, a 15-year NHL veteran, is now a color analyst for CHGO Televiz.
Sure is.
I'm sure I'm saying that incorrectly. If someone can correct me, please do. So we got to watch Canada and Connor Bedard beat up on Denmark the other day. And Voracek thought Connor Bedard was not celebrating his goals enthusiastically enough. He said it's disrespectful to the opponent, then went on Twitter and doubled down. This is Voracek's Twitter, quote, "I said I don't like it, and to celebrate a goal is normal. Non-celebration is more disrespectful than celebrating it. He is an effing player, though."
Fuck.
So weird.
Sometimes saying nothing is okay, too. Like, come on, man. Like, sorry, scoring goals against Denmark in a 15-0 game or whatever it was. Was that the one they blew the big lead? No.
I don't know.
Whatever. Like, Connor Bedard is not a hockey robot like a lot of people think. He's about as close as you get to it. He celebrates in big moments. Trust me. You know, he had a lot of fun celebrating that Michigan goal. He, he's had his moments. He scored that goal against, remember the Spencer Jones goal where he stared him down in Carolina? Like, he has his moments. So, it's now you're not celebrating hard enough. If you don't celebrate hard enough, you're disrespecting your opponent. If you celebrate too much, you're disrespecting your opponent. Shut up. Like, just shut up.
They beat Denmark 5-1. Do you want, like, Bedard, like, going on the ice and, like, shooting an arrow or, like, dabbing or, like, doing the gritty, like, Wallman or what? Like, it's 5-1 against Denmark.
If he scores the overtime goal to win the gold medal, you guarantee you he's going to celebrate that. Like, not every goal deserves an over-the-top celebration. Like, it's just dumb. And I like Jacob Voracek a lot. He was a really good player. He accomplished his mission. We're sitting here. People all around the hockey world are mentioning Jacob Voracek for the first time in a long time. So he accomplished his mission.
I didn't even have to bring in a card for that to happen.
I mean, he's getting what he wanted. He's getting his name out there. He's getting his Twitter followers up or down. I don't know. But it's like, come on, man. Like, do you think when he scores his first NHL Stanley Cup playoff goal, he's not going to have an intense celebration?
Yes, he celebrated goals that mattered this year.
Who cares? I don't care if he ever celebrates a goal. Just score the damn goals.
Yes.
Like, score a goal, do the whole thing across the bench, and get on with it. Like, not every goal needs an over-the-top celebration. Not every home run needs a bat flip. Like, maybe they do.
I disagree.
But come on.
Wait, what's that? Bat flips?
Did you see the video of the ump getting hit with the bat flip?
I did.
That was my buddy's. My buddy filmed that video. It was his son's baseball team.
I'm shocked that hasn't happened many times before.
I know.
Yeah, right.
In the major leagues too.
Yeah, it's
I
don't know. It's
we have seen Bedard celebrate. We saw it before he was with the Blackhawks, celebrating with Team Canada at the World Juniors and all that. Like he
did the heartbreaker at the World Juniors.
Yeah, he has
that?
no problem celebrating goals. It's a timely thing for him. And in the not prelims, but in the group stage of the World Championships, it's going to feel different than if he scores in a knockout game or a gold medal game. Like it's going to be different. He ramps up his not his play, but his anything around his play ramps up when the stakes are higher. So a group game in the World Championships is going to be much different than an elimination game. But he's going to keep scoring the goals no matter what. So
yeah.
I think,
I think the expectation is Connor Bedard should score against Denmark, and then act like it.
If he has heard of any of this brought to his attention, because it's who knows if he even is aware of what Voracek said or
just a
anything
blank
like that.
stare. I don't think he's.
I would love if he just leaned into it. Just every goal he scores, just like kind of just drops his head and skates back to the bench. Like,
doesn't even get,
or to do the full Ned Braden and just completely
yeah,
strip after a goal.
Don't even acknowledge that you scored a goal. Act like you missed.
Oh, he's hearing it. Everybody else in that Team Canada has got their phones out.
I'm
going,
sure.
Did you see what Jake said about you?
It's the other thing too is Bedard is very aware of the hierarchy, and he was very aware of rookies aren't supposed to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
As he gets further along in his career, he will start being more and more expressive. And like you saw, after his first 2-goal game, you lose track of him after a while. He was asked after the game, what's it like to score 2 goals? Like, I'm not really thinking about it. We got the win. That's what matters. Like, he's just so programmed to be, hockey robot's not right because it means he has no personality, but I think he just knows what the traditional expectation of a rookie hockey player is and a young hockey player is, and I think he's very, very he probably adheres to it with a seriousness that maybe others wouldn't, because he doesn't want to come off as dickish or entitled or I think I'm better than everybody right away. I think he's very aware of that.
Anything makes you seem that way too, according to one guy.
To one guy. I hope this story and from what I can tell, it's a collective laughing in the face of Jacob Voracek after this.
I haven't seen too many people going, right on, Jake. I've been saying that for years. Most people are like, okay, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, dude.
We stopped talking for a while. Champ.
Yeah. That's why he's doing color commentary in Czechia, not on ESPN.
Hey, he's working his way up, man. He's got to pay his dues.
Listen, if he's any good, I got a few people he could replace right away.
Well, there you go.
There's some hard to listen to broadcasters out there these days.
That's true. All right, let's get to the playoffs. Last night, the Boston Bruins stay alive And
As I predicted correctly.
you did predict correctly. Did you actually though, or were you like going against? Were you doing the Costanza go against your instincts?
You were hoping by predicting that they would win that they would actually lose.
No.
So
I had a feeling.
The Fraudston Bruins live for one more day.
Well, the best part of that game is post game. Paul Maurice is talking to the media. He gave his team a talking to on the bench, and they responded with a goal the next shift. Let's hear what Paul Maurice had to say about that after the game yesterday. This courtesy of TSN.
Paul, you definitely woke them up. They scored 11 seconds after the TV timeout there in the second period. What was the message there, and what was your thought on the goalie interference?
I don't know the exact words of the message. I felt that a little fire. I wasn't mad at them. Understood what they were going through. Just thought they needed some profanity in their life. I brought some. I don't excel a lot of things in life, but me, am I good at that? You see how I did that?
That's good stuff.
We all need some profanity in our life sometimes.
We sure do. He's almost like a likable John Tortorella.
I'm starting to like. Yeah, I'm starting to like it. And like the funny thing with him is, he's got this baby face, and I always, even though he's not, I always think of him as a younger coach because he looks young. But over the last 3 or 4 years, he like went from like young to old overnight. Even like his posture, and like he almost talks like Daryl Sutter now, and he always looks like he's on the verge of a burp. You know, like he's just like, I don't know. He's like the most Canadian dude ever now, and I don't know. I think. What I like about that, and you said it in our Slack, is like he is completely unconcerned.
Nope. Yeah.
Completely unconcerned.
Some coaches might be a little worried, like, oh, no, we didn't get a chance. He's just like, sure.
Yeah.
Like, cool, we play another game. Like, he knows his team is going to respond. He knows what his team is capable of. And it was, rather ironic that, you had another goalie interference call this time, a goal that maybe, I don't know, shouldn't have counted, but did in favor of Boston. So now that's evened out. So we
Usually does.
Crazy how that happens, right?
Like, so maybe we could stop crying about that, and both teams in both of those situations, they weren't overtime goals that they got screwed on. Both teams had chances to reply, to respond to that and score another goal, and both teams failed to do so. So, it's a good win by Boston. I still, I don't think I can't see them doing to the Panthers what the Panthers did to them last year.
No, I don't see that.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, unless Swayman just goes absolutely crazy and doesn't give up another goal the next 2 games.
I mean, that is a possibility. Like when you look at the teams that are capable of
but the Panthers are hard to shut out, not because they have like the best shooters in the world. They're just a team that constantly creates deflections, constantly creates traffic, and constantly crashes the nets for rebounds. They are all about second and third chances. They're all about just wearing you down and taking away the eyesight of the goalie and getting those redirects. That's a lot harder to shut out for a goalie than a team full of Connor McDavids with great shots.
It's almost as if the hockey cliches of crash the net and screen the goalie are they exist for a reason.
Shoot puck, get puck.
Yeah, and they've got a ton of super talented guys, of course. Like, don't get me wrong, but as Windy City Hockey says, the Panthers play with grit and skill, but grit comes first. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Their entire lineup, none of them are afraid to go to the net.
Right.
They all want to score dirty, greasy goals. Each and every one of them. Even their most skilled players are crashing the net. It's lovely.
It works because it works.
It's very effective, especially this time of year.
Yeah, definitely. And on top of that, they got the skill. And the Panthers just like, they're one of those teams. And when you look at as the playoffs go on here, and I think we all expect them to advance, they're a tough matchup for everybody.
Yeah.
Because they can play the physical game, they can play the skill game, whatever you want to bring to them, they'll happily accept it and play it with you. And when you got a guy like Tkachuk leading you, and you've got Sasha Barkov, who's every year the most underrated player in hockey.
Somehow.
It's they're a very, very tough matchup. And Bobrovsky, who we've seen get hot before and carry a team through the playoffs before. He hasn't been wonderful this series, but good enough. Good enough to have him up 3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Panthers' chances. I like the Panthers' chances in the next round, regardless if it's the Rangers or if the Hurricanes complete a miraculous comeback. I just think the style of hockey the Panthers play eventually wears down those teams that like to use their speed and their skill. They make it hard for you to use that speed and skill.
Yeah.
And they, in the course of a 7-game series, by game 6 or 7, you're begging for mercy.
Yeah, I mean they did the same thing last year. On their even as a low seed to get to the final, they did the exact same thing, and now they're not surprising people as a low seed. Like no, a lot of people were expecting this kind of game out of Florida, and yeah, I mean they're going to be a tough out, and I don't know. Like it's great that Boston was able to to extend the series. Still don't know the status of Brad Marchand, if he'll be playing. But if he comes back for Game 6, I mean that'll be a boost, But it's still feels like the Panthers are going to be able to close this one out.
And someone mentioned to Greg that Barkov does not crash the net. Barkov has 5 goals in these playoffs. 4 of them are scored from directly in front of the goaltender. The other one is slightly outside that zone, right in the middle. So all 5 coming right down the middle, with 4 being right in front of the goaltender. So, yeah.
Ball don't lie.
Right. He might not be blasting in there and falling into the goalie Andrew Shaw style, but he is going to the places where goals are scored.
He's not a perimeter player by any means.
Right. Exactly. Also, thank you, Edmonton Oilers, for not going to overtime and allowing me to get to bed at a reasonable hour last night. The Canucks tie it with, 134 or something left in the game?
150 something.
Yeah, something like that. And then a minute later, Edmonton's like, nope. Nope, we're going to tie. We are absolutely going to tie this series. And they score. And you talk about goals scored with traffic in front. There it is. It's right there for you. That tying goal from
Bouchard,
Vancouver.
man, he's very good at that.
Yeah.
Even though he's wearing his number, he is the anti-Duncan Keith. He gets that through. No shin pads needed.
Yeah, but I was talking about the Vancouver goal, too. Like, there were 2 Canucks, in the crease in that tying goal.
That's how you score goals.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. Yeah. It can be a little bit maddening because you look at this game and the skill sport, and especially how it's been going in years where you've got guys approaching 70 goals and well exceeding 3-digit points, and still the way you win in the playoffs is just by being physical, going to the net, paying the price, all that sort of stuff. And I don't know. It's been fun. I'm still feeling this Canucks Oilers series out. I was so ready to write off the Canucks, and I don't know. It's not their time yet. They're too early. And I do think Edmonton's been the better team, goaltending aside, throughout the series. But the Canucks don't go away, and they're kind of unafraid. And at this point, I'm sure it doesn't feel this way to Canucks fans, but I think to most people observing, the Canucks are kind of now, playing with house money. All the pressure here is on Edmonton to win this series.
Yeah.
All of it. And I think the Canucks know that, and the fact that, sure, they gave up the lead late, but they tie it late. No panic. You didn't see them freaking out, losing their minds. They just kept playing their game, and it won, and it got them, tied. I don't know. I just don't think they're going to go away super easily. I've been really impressed with Vancouver.
Yeah, they've made this a tough series. I don't think, too many people thought the Oilers were just going to come and steamroll them. I thought 6 games was fair, and that still may happen. But the Canucks are a very well-coached team. They play within their structure. They don't drift from, when they fall down behind. We've seen it many times this postseason. They don't change the way they play.
Yeah.
They just stick to what the game plan is with the confidence knowing that if we just keep doing what we're told to do, we'll get where we want to be. Maybe it just takes a little longer than we want it to. So, they've been that's been a really good series, and I don't expect anything less over these next 2 to 3 final games.
I love that it's come down to Pickard and Seelovs in net.
Just like we all predicted.
I mean,
and I was a little. I heard Kevin Weeks say something, and I generally like Kevin Weeks. I like him when he's in his studio and stuff, but in booth Kevin Weeks to me is a little much. But he had said something along the lines of, "Oh, when you look at this goalie matchup, that just goes to show the development that both of these systems have." And I'm like, Kevin Pickard is 32 freaking years old, making his first set. He's been on 50 different teams. Like, the Oilers didn't draft him and craft him to be this.
Right.
But come on, man.
He's all part of the plan.
Come on.
yeah.
Speaking of crazy games in Western Canada, did you see that British Columbia Hockey League, the junior league up there?
BCHL Game 7.
BCHL Game 7 of the conference final between the Penticton V's and maybe my new favorite team ever, the Salmon Arm Silverbacks.
What?
Yes, that's their name. The
Is Salmon Arm a city?
must be, yes. Gotta
Salmon
be.
don't have arms, Canada.
Well, it's probably an arm to the river.
Oh, maybe. I just picture a gorilla
Or
with
it's
salmons for arms.
It's an armed salmon.
Someone get
that's what I
AI
hope
on
it
that.
That's got to be the logo,
It's
man.
it's a salmon packing heat. It's an armed salmon. Anyway,
I like it, yeah.
Alberni Valley, Chilliwack.
yeah, they got some good names.
Oh man.
Confirmed
anyway,
Chilliwack.
The V's were down 3-2.
Yeah, Penticton.
Pulled their goalie, tied the game with 27 seconds left. 13 seconds later, they took the lead. They scored 2 goals in 13 seconds in the final 27 seconds of Game 7.
Wow.
To advance to the championship final.
That's awesome.
What an invigorating win, and what a complete gut punch of a loss for my new favorite team, the Salmon Arms Silverbacks.
They should reach out to the 2013 Bruins for advice on how to recover from such a loss.
I mean, that's pretty brutal. But you go check out our pals over at Flow Hockey. Their Twitter account has the highlights, and the announce team is just losing their mind. It's good stuff.
We got one game tonight. It is Avs and Stars. Game 6, Dallas is up 3-1. Devin Taves will return for the Avalanche today. Is this series continue? Game is in Dallas.
I say that it's over.
I'm going to say it continues because Colorado's best 2 games of this series were in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I just, I still think that the Avs are still one of the best teams in the league. I know they're going through some stuff. Niskuchin is gone. They're getting Taves back. If they get a good goalie effort tonight, I think they bring it back to Denver.
I heard our pal Megan Angley from DNVR yesterday with the What Chaos guys just saying like how demoralized the Avalanche are at their Val Nichushkin leaves. And Jack Johnson basically I don't know, his comments are saying like he made his choices.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean,
the first time that this happened last year, you're kind of like, oh, snap. Like, he's got issues that need to be dealt with. And that is completely valid and true. He definitely has some things that he needs to deal with away from hockey. It's just, I can understand from the team aspect being like, dude, again, we need you and you can't be here kind of thing. So I can understand that aspect of it from the Avs. But I mean, you look at how these first 4 games have gone. I mean, they're an OT goal away from being swept, and they've got 2 goals combined in their last 2 games. Like Dallas is no slouch, and they're a tough team. They're a lot of people pick them because they're so well balanced, can beat you in different ways, and Colorado, a few years ago could do exactly that back to you, but now I think. They're still a tough team, but I just think Dallas has just got more in them. It's just got more waves that they can beat you with.
Yeah. I know I get being disappointed in a guy, but I think, geez, have a little empathy. You
could tell the people when this stuff happens that have never had to deal with addiction in their life, and good for you. Good for you. As someone who has dealt with substance abuse and addiction in his life and is in recovery, I hope you don't have to go through those things. But, a lot of insensitivity out there when it comes to this stuff.
It's ignorance, too.
It is. And, for some people that have those attitudes, you just never had to deal with it, either personally or watch someone you love. I've lost good friends of mine to drug abuse. So it's addiction is an MFer. It's not a good place to be in. And I think Val, hopefully one day will have that clarity to realize, I let people down. You usually do. When you choose whatever you're addicted to over your commitments, over your loved ones, once you reach that point in your life where you have the clarity to realize how wrong that is, you do feel like shit for a long time. And it takes a long time to get back to feeling good and realizing and admitting your mistakes. I hope one day he gets to that point. But to just right away just make blanket statements, it's disheartening. And a lot of it offends me at times, but it is what it is, until you experience things on your own, you really can't. It's hard to be empathetic at times. I understand that, but just put yourself in somebody else's shoes every once in a while and try and see things from a different point of view.
Shouldn't be that hard. You wouldn't think so. All right, before we wrap up, I want to remind everybody, first of all, hit that like button for us. We would appreciate that. We have Cam Robinson from Elite Prospects coming on the show tomorrow, and former Hawk Brendan Perlini coming on Friday. So don't miss those shows. They're going to be a lot of fun. And we have a super chat we've got to knock out here from Ben. Ben says, Hawks fan living in Sabres land, just wondering what happens with the players from the Coyotes. Would there be anyone we'd like to see in a Hawks uniform? Well, they just become Utah Hockey Club members.
Utah Yeti.
They're just moving.
What are some of the other names? Squall?
They're part of the
Fury.
Swarm.
Mammoth.
Or the Hive.
Hive.
They are
They're
mammoth.
all bees.
Mammoth.
It's just the same as when the Coyotes became the Coyotes. They were all the Winnipeg Jets. Mm-hmm. It's just everything is picked up and moved. So they
have to move.
There won't be any guys to get out there and snatch away from them.
Yeah, I would look for them to be adding, not subtracting.
Yes.
Before we go, I did just find a video on the YouTubes, and it's the top 5 pros and cons of living in Salmon Arm, British Columbia.
Okay, let's hear them.
You might want to hear them.
Yeah.
Sure.
The 5 pros: no traffic, cheaper housing, community, scenery, and safety.
All right, I like all
All
that.
right.
Those all sound great. The
Have a
5.
hockey team.
Salmon Arms, British
That's 6.
Columbia.
Yeah. One salmon arm. There's only
Salmon
one.
Arm.
5 cons: the amenities, transportation, lack of diversity, extreme weather, and the last one, that smell. Now, I guess we'll have to watch the video to know.
Someone's just cranking Leonard Skinner all day.
that smell is.
That sounds like a pro to me, baby.
That's probably a lot of dead fish.
There you go.
Yeah.
All those arms that fall off a salmon decay and stink.
By the way, can you pull just
Kind of in the middle of
log?
nowhere.
Go to Google, the Google machine, type
heard
in
of it.
Salmon Arm BC, and then go to images and just share those images on the screen for our lovely viewers. And if you're listening to the podcast, do this when you're not driving.
If you want some,
Salmon Arm looks like a very beautiful place to live.
if you want some
Don't think you get-
scenic solitude,
I don't think you get very good Wi-Fi up there, though.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I mean,
I might take that. Yeah.
When we were asked on Mailbag Monday, which team would we like to go cover? The Salmon Arm Silverbacks.
Yep, I'm in.
Man, look at that.
That looks great.
That is beautiful.
It's probably like the one nice day a year they have up there.
I'll bet it
but
gets
still.
very, very cold in Salmon Arm, BC.
Probably, yes.
Let's see. How far is it from Seattle?
Far.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. it's pretty-
Pace Setter, who's been in our chat, lives near there and said it's a little town in the Rockies in central BC.
It looks like it's just like almost directly between Calgary and Vancouver, just north of Kelowna.
So it's in the
Just east of Kamloops.
Yeah.
Near Sun Peak Ski
Kamloops,
Resort.
my favorite breakfast cereal.
Which looks nice.
Cam Robinson. It's all little dudes with headbands on. Kamloops.
Yes.
All right, we'll be
we'll talk to him
back.
tomorrow.
Speaking of Cam Robinson, we'll be back with him and his bandana to glory tomorrow at 2:30. So don't miss that show. Lots of draft conversation. Is it going to be Demidov? Is it going to be Levshunov? Is it going to be somebody else? And who's going to be there at 20 for the Hawks and beyond? All that with Cam Robinson. Then Friday, Brendan Perlini. We got a big 2 days left, so make sure you're with us every day at 2:30. Set those reminders. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Turn on those notifications on your podcast app and your YouTube so you don't miss a show. And we'll talk to you Thursday at 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.